Oh, hello. In today's video, we're going to talk about the latest Kill Team Moroch news and previews that were up on the Warhammer community website yesterday. So, first we're going to talk about the Traitor Ogre. I think they may have spoiled close to his entire datasheet, but he could still have rules that we don't know. I don't know what I was expecting, but I think he's a little bit underwhelming. Now, it's worth saying that the whole article is basically talking about ways in which to buff the Traitor Ogre, and I think if that's one of the ways the team is supposed to play, where you're kind of piling the buffs onto him, and he's a great vehicle, he's a great base chassis for piling on those buffs. He's got some good rules, so 16 wounds is nice, right? The rest of his stat line is pretty standard. 16 wounds, and then his close combat attack, which is just the Power Maul and Mutant Claw rolled together as one big thing. Only 4 dice, but 5/6 rending stun. Would have been nice to see, a mortal wound there, maybe, but rending is good. Stun, yeah, lethal 5-up might have been nice, but yeah, it's fine. It's not bad. It's 5/6, which is still strong. He does have a nice rule in Avalanche of Muscle. So each time the operative finishes a charge action, select one enemy operative within engagement range of it to suffer D3 mortal wounds. So you can get D3 mortal wounds before you start. So that does mean that you can be one-hitting 7-wound models like Vetguard and Novitiates, which is fun, because chances are you're going to charge, you're going to do at least 1 mortal wound, and then you're going to be able to do 7 wounds with your crit, and you're likely to get 1 crit with your 4 dice because you've got rending. No, rending gives you a 2nd crit. What am I talking about? Still, if you get a crit, you can one-hit 7 wound models, which is nice. And then, depending on what you're on, your D3, 8 wound models as well. So, strong. I just somehow feel underwhelmed. I don't know why. It's probably really good. Probably I'm full of rubbish. Now, part of me, I checked this article last night, or at 4 PM, roughly when it went up, and I'm sure the Avalanche of Muscle rule wasn't there, and that Warcom have snuck it on later. Let me know if that's news to you. That if you think you've read the article and the Avalanche of Muscle rule wasn't there the first time round, let me know in the comments. I may be having a moment, though. You don't know. I never know. But arguably, the more exciting thing in the article is what's on the next slide. So the Traitor Corpsman. Now, the Traitor Corpsman really does light my bonfire, as it were. So his is nice. This is nice, right? So we've got a guy, and he has the Stims ability. First of all, actually, before I get into his ability, they didn't show this miniature. They didn't show this specialist when they did the whole rundown at Warhammer Fest. So if you watch my Warhammer Fest coverage video, this is another option that the Traitor Guard are going to have that wasn't in that video, right? Secondly, he has half the medic ability. So he has here, if I get my pen again, he has here the ability to regain somebody 2d3 lost wounds. Yeah. He doesn't have the resurrecty for half of the medic ability, where if somebody's taken out and they're close to him, he can bring them back on 1 wound, which is a strong ability that they're losing out on their medic. But in exchange for that, right, he gets 2 really nice buffing abilities. So if I go here, these last 2 bullet points, first of all, can I say the operative words here, until the end of the battle. Until the end of the battle. You get these on turn 1, and you don't have to worry about it then. So until the end of the battle, melee weapons the selected operative is equipped with gain the Relentless special rule. Oh, well, that's going straight on the Ogre. And until the end of the battle, each time the selected operative would lose a wound, roll 1d6. On a 6, that wound is not lost. Now, rules as written, I can't think of anything. There's nothing that stops you doing the same special action twice, is there? I know there's a special rule that says you can't shoot twice and you can't fight twice. But as a generic rule, can you only do each action once, or can you do special actions twice? I don't know. I could have gone into the other room and looked it up, but I could just ask my comments section to sort that for me. if you can do a special action twice, if there's not a generic rule in the core rules that says you can only do any named action once, then let me know. If you can do this twice, then you just, I mean, regardless, you're spending every game, you're deploying this guy on a conceal directly behind the Traitor Ogre, and then you're going to use him to buff the Traitor Ogre. And then the Traitor Ogre is just much better for the whole game, even if the medic dies. And then, after you've buffed your Traitor Ogre, you can buff other combat characters like the Commissar potentially, or you can go around medicing people, or you can do other useful things. But you're going to buff that Traitor Ogre either once or twice, depending on what the rules allow. We also learned in the same article that the Traitor Enforcer is the name of another specialist, and he has some kind of action to propel, give models a free move, it looks like. So it looks like it's going to be similar to the Sisters Novitiate with the whip, where you've got something where you can get someone some extra move, and it also looks like the Traitor Corpsman is going to be a standard comms model with the standard passing on an AP action. Okay, but that's really cool. That's really cool. Reavers. So they didn't say anything in the rules text about Reavers, but they've included two photographs here, right, which show Reavers. So this is a Reaver, okay, in the top photograph. This here is a Reaver, okay, in this photograph down here. And this up here, I think it's, no, that's not a Reaver, okay, but there's Reavers. Now, the images showing Reavers went up on Instagram. One image with some Reavers in the shot went up on Instagram, and a lot of people were really excited by that, but some people, including me, kind of went, oh, well, the photo team have just made a mistake. The Instagram feed tends to, in my opinion, to have less polish than the Warhammer community articles. Like, they've got one less layer of managerial or editorial control. But they've done it again. And Warhammer community are plugged in. They will have known how much chat the first image with the Reavers in generated around the web, with people saying, oh, we're going to get Reavers. So maybe your Phobos guys will be able to take Reavers as well as additional combat specialists. Maybe they've just made the same mistake twice. I don't know, I don't know. But one thing I am certain of, Reavers are not coming in the box. We've seen the bonus sprue that comes in the box. I do not believe they're going to have thrown a Reavers sprue in the box. They would have told you about that in terms of trying to sell you the box, because they want to tell you about all the plastic in the box. And because they're not going to be in the box, if the rules do allow you to add Reavers, which I'm undecided on whether it will or not, it will be a case of, and now go out and buy a box of Reavers to add to your Phobos team. And so you will be able to construct a legal team out of the Incursor set, the 10-man Incursor / Infiltrator squad, and the accessory sprue. Whether or not you'll be able to then have potentially Reavers as well is up for debate, but I believe that it will be, if it is the case, it will be a case of going to buy the extra box from the ordinary Warhammer 40,000 range. And the sprue, this is old news to some people. They snuck this out with the video, the What's New This Week in Warhammer video on Sunday. I nearly always watch those videos to scrutinise them for extra information. I didn't this time, and then I've been made aware of the fact that the sprue's there. Now, this is the best picture I could get. So this is a composite of a couple of shots from the video, because they kind of slide the sprue down. We haven't quite got the top and bottom of the sprue, but you can see the way it curves here and here. I'm confident that what we can see is basically the whole sprue. I don't think there are any massive surprises. So we've got 4 heads here, another head up here, 5, 6. Wow, a Discord noise, so professional. Another head, so 6 heads. So potentially, 7 heads. So potentially you don't have to use a single standard head in your team if you don't want to. I think most people will probably use totally different heads. I mean, this is Marines we're talking about. So people are going to use, if they've got their chapter specific heads with their chapter specific haircuts, right, that Games Workshop like to put out in the various little packs, whether you're playing Raven Guard or Black Templars or Blood Angels or whatever it is. I think a lot of people are going to use the chapter specific heads. These are great if you're playing Ultramarines or a successor chapter though. We've got a couple of different sights, okay, that's interesting. We got the binoculars, arms, of course, fine. A couple of different guns, I'm not totally sure. I think they've given us a lot of one-handed guns because the guns aren't new themselves, but because they've had to give us someone holding something in their other hands, they've had to give us the one-handed kind of pose for the guns. Is that a little satchel with an apothecary? Is this the apothecary symbol down there? We got the Cognis Signum down here. One little detail I spotted that doesn't indicate to me there's going to be a new specialist, but which is interesting, is they've given us a Phobos shoulder pad with Tech Marine style, you know, the cogwheel, the Mechanicum aligned trim here. So that is an interesting piece. I think that goes on the demo guy that's going to use this arm, okay, and this demo pack, which is why it's located here on the sprue with all the demo stuff. Yeah, and we got the Auspex here, okay. It's hard to see from this angle what some of these bits are. This is the little backpack flourish for the sergeant. And this is the arm here for the combat guy that we've seen. It's not a Reaver making a Reaver arm. It's the combat specialist that uses this giant purity seal. But yeah, that's the sprue. You're quite capable of looking at it. If you've spotted anything else on there that I haven't pointed out, please do mention it as well in the comments. But I don't think there are any great surprises there. Okay, final thoughts. Do you think we're going to get Reavers? I am not sure. I'm leaning towards yes. There'll be rules to add Reavers into the box now, just because they've shown up again on more promotional shots. But I don't think it's deadly certain. Either way, we will find out on Saturday when the various content creators that get the boxes, of which I'm not one, will be able to put their video up. It swings and roundabouts to that thing about not being a big content creator, because I can make this video talking about the Warcom article, and they kind of can't, because they kind of can't speculate because they've read the book. So you probably won't see a glass or a crit video that's on this article, because they know and I don't know. So there's something joyful, I think, maybe in that not knowing. Let's be clear, I wish I did know, but there is a little bit of joy there in not knowing. Can the Corpsman deliver both his buffs turn one? I feel like, turning it over in my head, the answer is no. But because there's no, like, you can't move twice, you can't. But are those rules? Is there a general rule that says you can't do any action twice, or do each of the actions, like move and shoot, so on, have in them, you can't do this if you've already? I feel like it might be you can't do this if you've already, and there's not a generic rule. Let me know. I'm sure somebody just knows, right? So there's that. I want to do a little tiny channel update right at the end here. I said I was going to stream last night. I didn't stream last night. I didn't get a video up last night either. I was planning to get this video up last night. Mrs. Tabletop Imbles had a bit of a bad day. She accidentally, like, she's fine. She accidentally backed her car into a parked car and did a little tiny crack on the bumper, and she didn't realise. She thought she backed into a post. And then the neighbour whose car it was came and really banged on the door and yelled about it. And I sort of had to, and then they were like, oh, my husband's going to be back at 7 o'clock, blah, 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 blah. So I kind of didn't want to be streaming, so that and at the end, when the husband came round, he was perfectly pleasant, and we sorted it out, and everything's fine. But you know, because she's 5 months pregnant, and she's just got a bit shook up by that interaction, so I was just making myself available. So sorry if you were looking forward to the stream and you feel let down, but you know, duty calls. I do plan to stream, not tonight. I'm going to stick to the schedule that I said, even though I haven't so far, but I'm going to stream on Thursday night. And then next week, I am off work for a week. It's a school holiday. So I'll be doing definitely 2 streams Wednesday and Thursday next week, and they might go on a little bit later, and I might have a beer or two as it's the half-term holiday. And then I will keep the videos coming. If there's no new Warcom article, then I might get another Kill Team faction rundown up, and then I'll probably do a reaction video once all of the content creators that have got the book, have leaked the book. I'll then talk about what we know now as well, to kind of piggyback. I hope they don't mind, right, on their content a little bit, but they get first dibs. Yeah, so that's the end of the video. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe. If any of that stuff sounds interesting, please answer those questions that I posed there. And yeah, have a great day. Keep gaming, keep painting, and I'll see you all again next time. Cheerio.